I was wrong, actually. I was very wrong. If you take one thing from this video, it's not done, but if you take one thing from this video, it's like Miguel Savage 1 is his downfall 1 from Sav. You have to think about it on the tier of that importance when considering using this move. This is just as important as that in Sav. What people aren't talking about is the fact that it's not just that move, it's the whole string is deadly, you know? This should be your go-to move when you're in Savage stance and you want to start an offense, right? You don't want to be one and done like this, you know? You want to start an offense. That's your go-to move, considering the buff to Savage 1-4. So pretty much this string has 3 options. It has 3 options. You can go in here. Actually, hold on. You can go here, this, and this. Your go-to should always be Savage 1-4 if you're confident you have a good chance of hitting the opponent with Savage 1. Your go-to should always be that. But you need to consider all 3 moves. Why do I say that? Because down for 1, everybody knows that string. Like, I mean, not everybody, but people who know Miguel, they know him for down for 1. Okay, that's a high, that's a high mid. They know that. So you got to be real cerebral with how you mix it up. Do one move, do this. If they're more, you know, disrespecting your offense, then include that. Maybe you'll get a counter hit. Then look for that, right? To do a follow up. People know that, and so that limits Miguel's efficiency on offense. You know what I mean? Sound like a NBA stat or something, but it limits his efficiency. People don't really know this stuff. They don't know the frames on it. They don't know what you can do. They don't know that stuff. You know what I mean? They don't know it, bro. I know, because I did it way before it was cool to do it in season 3, pre-season 3, when nobody did stuff like that. And if you look on the top, it says +6. So now think about that, bro. Like, that's +5. That's +5. You know, this is +4. This is +6, right? -2, just -2, just like that. That's -2. This is -2. This is +6. You're in a great situation. +6 with the ability to go back into Savage stance. So a lot of times I would do stuff like this. Ever since like tag 2, I do stuff like that, right? And then if they do a 10-frame jab, then we're gonna trade. And if they do that, we're gonna trade, then I'm gonna recover faster. Then I can do all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? But this is such a good tool because it's +6. I'm able to go into Savage. And the thing about the properties of this move, like, honestly, this is one of his best moves, not because of what you can do out of it, not because of the generous frames, but because it has a pretty wide hitbox. Most of Miguel's stuff has crappy, shitty hitboxes like this, like this, like that, like this, like this. You know what I mean? Like, you don't just use moves too much like that because they have horrible hitboxes. Even this is linear, you know? So it's like, this move is good because when people are sidestepping, it'll catch sometimes, you know? And just a wide hitbox. It's like one of Miguel's best moves because of the hitbox. This move is the same way. This move will catch steppers, especially when they step to his left. And this, honestly, just a great move. Imagine when I talked about a move like this, to where Miguel pulls his whole body forward before he does the move. So the whole time he's doing that, Miguel's open. You know what I mean? He's open for business in terms of getting counter hit. But this one kinda, yeah, he pulls forward a little bit, but most of his forward momentum is going into the hitbox of his arm. So his hurt box is still kind of back. So the reach, because it has good reach. Like, look at that. It has good reach. You know? It will reach in situations where this won't. That's another thing you got to consider. And you can use that as keep out to where, like, this move will reach pretty far distance. And like I said, good reach, -2 on block, +6 on hit. And let me watch when I talk about the follow-up streams, you'll see why this is so important. So you do this, right? Now let's talk about what you can do after that. The first thing I'll talk about is Savage 1-1. Now this one is great because you do that, right? And that's a knockdown. So I would recommend using this, and this was his best move out of this move before the season 3 patch. But now that he has this is better. Because this is only 29 damage, this is 34 damage, but when this is against a wall, obviously you can get way more damage. So both of these are natural now, right? All 3 of his moves are natural. This is natural. We'll talk about this, that's natural, and this is natural. This is something that people don't think about when they consider this move. He doesn't have the same effect for this, right? So Savage 1-1 is natural move, and you can get easy mode 46 damage. So that's more than this, which means you should, unless you want to establish kind of mental offensive pressure, you do that even if there's no walls, so that you can kind of roll up on them, right? This move will be better in terms of damage and when you're close, because remember, the range on a second hit isn't noteworthy, it's not remarkable. So sometimes it can whiff, to be honest with you, on certain weird situations, you know? Or if the opponent may be moving back as you hit with this or something like that. So just for safekeepings, in general, you want to do that. Just in general. But if you're close and you want damage, there's no walls, then you do this. You do that because you get easy 46 damage mode. Now you can do a 4-4-2-1, but I'm not even going to talk about that. Like, I wouldn't even be able to get it here in a demonstration. Let's try it. Oh. Yeah, it's so hard to pick them up from that. All right, one more time. Got it. All right. That's 51 damage, and you get some Oki, right? That's cool, but it feels like a 1-frame link, so never do that. That's too hard. What you want to do is this. Either that, or you want to do this. That's guaranteed as well. Maybe you can delay it. I'm sure you can delay it, and then they can you can get a launch from that. So that actually may be a better option, right? Okay, see, I didn't even have to delay it, but if they decide to do some type of counter hit move, then that's the launch. You know, that's 27 damage too. So that means, what is that? What was that, 34, right? Oh, hold on. Yeah. Dang, what's the math? That 46? No, that's 56, right? Because that's 29. And then 27. Yeah, 56 damage, right? So that's 56 damage if you get a counter hit, but most likely they're going to be trying to stand up or wake up backwards or something, right? So that's 18, 29, that's 47, right? Yeah, 47. Yeah, 29, 18, 47, right? So that's a 47 damage move. 29, 47 damage. That's higher damage than that. So like I said, if you're close, no walls, and you want to just rack up more damage and have a better O key, then use this move. Use that, and then you can do a bunch of stuff after. Or if you're not confident in your instant savage, if you're not reliable in your instant savage input, then just do down 4-1-2, 46 damage. That's only 1 damage. That's only 1. The hell? That's only 1. Yeah, don't do. I mean, you can do this. I feel like it's better Oki for that. That's way better Oki versus this, because you don't have as much time to do a move. But the age-old technique, by the way, this is what I suggest you do, unless it gets blocked, is do this. Boom, boom, bam, bam, bam. And 9 times out of 10, they get hit by that, because even though they can get up in time, by the time you press down 3, then the opponent's considered on the ground, no matter what they're doing. So it'll still be a low hit they have to block. And imagine if they get hit by that. Watch this. Then dude, this steals so many rounds. Oh my god, I can't tell you how many times I've won a round I shouldn't have, because just from doing this, boom, boom, bam, bam, bam. Now think about that. That is, what is that? 61? No, that's 71 damage. That's 46 plus 25, right? That's 71 damage. Boom, boom, bam, bam, 46, 25. And what if they're doing a move? Then this is gonna be a counter hit. But I'm gonna talk about that after. Talk about that later. So yeah, do this and then do that, and then that's like a low. They have the block, but it kind of doesn't look low because Miguel's still standing. So a lot of people get hit by that. But remember, after you do this, you're negative. I mean, it says positive, I guess. I feel like you're negative after that. I don't know. Maybe. Okay, maybe you're positive. Wow, I didn't know that. But regardless of what you are, do that move, and that's a 71 damage string altogether just from getting a successful Savage 1. It's really good. And as you can tell, that's a lot more damage than this. Unless you get a wall bounce, then that's more damage. And that's just a combo on the spot right there. That's 74. So if no walls, then you want to do this stuff. Now, this is actually risky. They can block it, by the way. So let's have them do that. I wonder if this will work. And you're minus 13, so keep that in mind. But a lot of people don't know the frames on that, so they won't even punish you right. Or they'll maybe do a jab punch or something. Or most people won't even be looking to block low in that situation. Like I said earlier. Also, you have to be wary that they can, even though I don't feel like this has ever happened to me, by the way. And I've faced top level people to, you know, normal newcomers. And I don't think this has ever happened to where they done a wake up kick. But remember, they can get a wake up kick on you, by the way. It can be interrupted, so you gotta keep that in mind. So just show you, and then you'll get counter hit and you'll get combo. So just keep that in mind. But if they don't do that, then you got an easy 71 damage every time, you know? So that's the reason, that's why you should do that. Now, the thing is that all three of these strings are delayable, pretty much. But this one, you can't delay it as much. Actually, I'll talk about the delayability later. Actually, no, let me go ahead and talk about the delay. So let's go back to here. This move right here, you can delay it, you cannot hit confirm it. It can be slightly delayed. Normally the hit is like this, like that. You can slightly delay it. See that? See that? You can't delay it as much as the other ones. See that? And definitely not as much as that, but you can delay this. And if you delay it, because that all goes into mixing up your timing, right? Kind of like that. And then if you delay it and they attack, then that's a full combo once you get a counter hit off that. So think about how many uses that has. Boom, boom, right? They're attack, attack, attack. You know what I mean? Especially if you just mix in that, right? Or do it twice. You do it twice, and then a lot of times they'll get hit by that second slap. And guess what? That is, boom, full combo. See what I'm saying? Like, so deadly. If you mix, I mean, that's what you're supposed to be doing with Miguel anyway, is being unpredictable, mixing up your timing. He has the strings for that, you know what I mean? He has the tools to do that. So you gotta, bro, use this stuff, you know? Because if it's just a normal hit, like I said, you have all kinds of options, boom, boom, like I talked about. Not like that, but let's go back to backwards. But yeah, if you just get a normal hit, boom, boom, you know what I mean? You get to continue your offense. Or you do the down three like I talked about. Boom. But, like I said, if you get a counter hit, so there's nothing to lose in this situation. I can just do it normally if I think I have a hit. I can delay it and get a full combo from a counter hit. Right? You know? And if none of those work and they block it, guess what? I'm safe at -9. Now, combine all the things I just told you, and you'll see that, yo, this is one of his underrated strings, you know? Very underrated. There's nothing to lose. For all those properties I told you about, there's nothing to lose because it's safe. So very good string. Use this, like I said, if you're not near a wall and you want to rack up the most damage and the most offensive momentum, because oh my god, sometimes I'd be just getting like beat the hell up, you know what I mean? About to die, and then I get this boom, 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 and then boom, and that's already 71 damage, and then I just go on a roll. Just get that, and then all of a sudden we got a game, you know? That happens so many times, you know? And that's not possible with this unless a wall's near. So in those situations, like I said, use that. So let's move on. Let's talk about this string. That string was my go-to string before Savage 4. This has been mostly phased out because this now completely trumps this. This was good formerly because think about it. I'm +5, I do that, that comes out in 12, I'm gonna get that hit. Boom, boom. 17 damage. I'm able to go back into Savage stance and I'm +3 and it's a natural combo. This was great to keep the defense honest because one of the things about this string is that, and about these next two strings, this as well as this, is that it's high mid, which in my opinion is better than mid high, because if you do this mid high, you'll notice that this string has a lot more risk than these strings. First off, mid high, they can if they know, if they know Miguel and they get a good read, duck and punch, right? Every time, boom 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 boom, right? But the difference between this is that if they do this, boom, they'll get hit by that. Boom, you know what I mean? So it's kind of an anti Miguel strategy, if that makes sense. Because people will look for the high and then duck and boom. You know what I mean? And they won't respect you like that. Do that every time, you know? Same as this. Or same as this. Same thing, you know? They'll keep you honest, and so you'll be forced to do this, which is a good strategy, but then you're like -13 when they block it. So they kind of force you into like being unsafe in order to even impact the opponent because of a fear of ducking. But when you do stuff like this, that keeps them honest every time, you know what I mean? Every time. You just mix that into your game, nothing crazy, you know? Every time. So then this is kind of like, now you're forcing their hand to be like, yo, you can't just duck all the time. You gotta stand up and fight. You feel me? You can't just duck all the time. You know? Of course you have stuff like that, but the problem, I mean, again, this is just for like complex offense, you know what I mean? These moves are just single one and done moves to where you may get a hit, you may not. If you don't, you lose your turn. It's -9, that's cool. It's not unsafe, but you still lose your turn, you know? On moves like this, you know what I mean? If you want to continue your offense, you need to pay attention to stuff like that, because high mid will work very well in conditioning your opponent to stand up and respect Miguel's offense, which then leads you to do stuff like that, the stuff you want to do, you know what I mean? If you would stop blocking, but yeah, that will lead them to do stuff like this, like I said, even stuff like that, stuff like this, even stuff like this. People ask me on comments, how you able to successfully hit people with that? It doesn't make any sense, you know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at their rank and like, why are you getting hit by stuff like this? Why? Because you have to condition them with boom, 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 you know what I mean? Boom, boom, boom. And then when I need to get free damage, guess what I do? Not that. I need to get free damage. That's free mental damage. When I need to get free damage, boom, boom, easy. And they'll hit every time because they're not expecting it at that point. So it'll start opening up free low damage. You get stuff like that. And then you really start opening up their stuff. Because you teach them, yeah, you can't just duck all the time. That's why that move is great. Now, having said all that, like I said, it's mostly phased out because you might as well do this. But the difference between that is it's still -10. And it's still kind of an interior. Well, no, it's not an interior offense. This is pushback, so it's phased out really. But keep this in mind because the delay, the amount you're able to delay this move is substantially greater than that. You know what I mean? That's the most I can delay it, right? It's not much, but it's still good. But this, I can delay this. See that? So this is not only is that natural, and this is natural, +3, remember? But I can delay it pretty good. So again, it surfs into the unpredictability and the varied timing of your moves. If you're just doing this, see, that's just, well, where'd that come from, right? And then, especially the last time all they saw is this, right? You know? You can delay it really heavily. So it's a pretty good move. Does it track a little bit? I think it does. Let's try it. Well, this kind of shows what I'm saying is that this move has a good hitbox. See, they're stepping to Miguel's weak side and still hitting him. See that? See that? Did you see that? That's what I'm talking about. The move has a great hitbox and it kind of tracks a little bit. So this is an underrated part of these moves that I feel like Miguel players aren't using enough. You know? You're +3. Now, that's another, I feel like it's kind of, you know, don't get too rosy-eyed about being +3 because even though it's natural, right? You still push them to that. You still push them that far out, right? So you can't really do nothing with that +3. That's like being +3. Same situation as this, to where it pushes you out of Miguel's preferred range. I mean, the amount of plus frames are too little for it to be advantageous, I feel like. So don't get too crazy after hitting it, you know, unless you're against the wall, then you have something good, because then you can do stuff like this. You're +3 and then do that again, because then now it comes out in 9 frames, because that's a 12 frame move being used while you're +3. Then you can and then they'll hit them, you know. So stuff like that, or even stuff like this, it'll trade if they do a +1. I mean, if they do a 10 frame, right? Anything else will beat. Boom. So if you're against the wall, then that's great, because you can do like stuff like this. Delay the hell out of that. Hit them you'll be +3. And then boom, boom. Because they'll try and attack, and then you're +5, and now, you see what I'm saying? It's just a roller coaster. So that's why you should use that move. Final point about this move is that, let me check the time. My bad. The only downside of this move, there's so many upsides. The only downside of that is that, A, there's not much for reward for just hitting them. You know, 17 damage is cool. Just doing this move alone is 8 damage, but you're not looking for reward at that point. You're just conditioning and teaching them that my offense doesn't have as many holes as you think. You know what I mean? It's just preparation. It's preparation moves, you know, or chippy or just damage building moves. But this move, like I said, not much reward. And the second drawback is it is -10. Remember that. So if I do that, boom, it's -10. It does have some pushback, and this is one of those things to where, bro, nobody knows this minus. Same thing as this. Have you ever been punished by that? In a similar fashion, nobody knows that's -10. Nobody knows. I can stand on a mountain and scream that, hey, Miguel Savage 1-2, it's -10. People should punish it. First off, people don't even do it enough, which is hence why this video is being made. People don't even do it enough, you know? So they're not even gonna see it enough for it to be on the radar. So you can get that for free, you know? Even developers probably thought that, a lot of these mix-ups are pretty good, you know? So let me just kind of make it a little risky, you know? So it's -10, don't forget that, you know? But at the same time, the knowledge check, that's a deep knowledge check, you know, to where I don't think you're gonna get punished that much for it. The final string out of that, as you might have guessed or might not have guessed, is the one ender, which is a launcher. Now, don't write this move off just yet. It's similar to what I talked about getting a free Savage back 1-2. When you condition them and you teach them that, hey, I'm only going for this. That's what type of player I am. I'm only going for that. And then at the end of a round, you need some round ending damage. You do that. Do this. Free damage. And plus Oki. Same way is that. The whole time you're doing stuff like this, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Especially if you're doom. Just do it twice throughout a match. You know what I mean? And it's so delayable. So you do that, and then once in the blue moon, you pull out, boom. Because not only, think about it, this is the normal speed. But I can delay the second. Not only can I delay the second hit, I can delay the third hit. Of this not only comes with that, but it comes with the second hit because that's normal speed. But you can also delay it pretty heavily. Boom, you know what I mean? So I'm saying all this because you have so much leeway to alter and vary your timing on these Savage 1 moves to where you can get a nice counter hit. Not only for this, boom, but this, boom, +3, gets a wall, you can do some stuff. But this too, if you've been conditioning them, bam, 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 you know what I mean? Bam, you delay that, bam, bam, you know what I mean? So, first part of that is the fact that you vary your timing, like I said, and you can get that move if you can condition them just that, you know? Boom, boom, you know? And the fact that you can delay it, boom, and then you can get that a lot of times. Well, not a lot of times. It's good for at least once a match. It really is. Or once it's set. It's good for that. But you'd have to be willing to, you know, you're throwing out a lot because look at it, it's -17, so that's definitely launch punishable. And the times I failed at getting that, people have launched me, in my opinion, pretty consistently for good players. They've launched me for that. I feel like people kind of, it's more of like, I don't know, people know it, good players know it, you know? So the pushback doesn't really help being -17. They can still get a launch. So be on the watch out for that, but that's still just like a respect me type of move. Having said all that, the better way you can, I mean, regardless, you have to take a risk in throwing it out. But remember that if you hit this move, a counter hit, then the 3 is guaranteed. So right now he's on guard all after getting hit by the first move, right? Same as this. Boom, boom, boom. Remember, the first 2 hits are natural, and that's not natural. But if I get a counter hit, then the second hit is guaranteed. You see what I'm saying? So now think about that. If that is guaranteed on counter hit, this is guaranteed on natural. I can delay both second and third hit. Boom, boom. I can delay both second and third hit. So a good strategy in terms of fishing for it and keeping the defense honest is boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? Just delay the second one and then do that. And then if they get counter hit by this, then it's an easy launch, easy round stealer. So there's so much variation you can do with that, you know? And these are just options. Again, these 3 is on the bottom of the priority list in terms of this, in terms of this, you know what I mean? And even in terms of just that. This is on the bottom of the priority list. You don't want to be doing that too much. You know, it's launch punishable. But knowing that that's an option means that the spider web of options that he can do out of Sav 1 is limitless, you know? So just keep those things in mind, you know? And remember the delayability of that. So let me just check if this is hit confirmable. Might have to cut this again. Let's see. Let's do counter hit. Oh my god, that's hit confirmable. That is hit confirmable. Wow. I'm learning stuff just doing this tutorial. So if I'm doing this and I get a counter hit, just doing a normal offense, and I see that they done the move and I hit them, dude, that's very hit confirmable. I delayed it a little bit that time. I mean, you can't delay it too much, but dude, that's counter hit confirmable for sure. Wow. So let me do a live edit and say that maybe you should consider, maybe I should consider that strategy more so. Man, this is wow. That's definitely counter hit confirmable. You know, if you just see them do a move, you have a lot of time to do that. Remember, he's on guard all. So consider that shit. So with the season 3, right? change of Savage 1-4, there's really few better options to throw out comfortably than a Savage 1-4, because many of Miguel's moves are you know, they're unsafe. Let's just say that many of Miguel's moves with big payoff are unsafe. That's why Savage 1-4 is such an anomaly, because this move is risk free, right? You do it. If they block it, it's -10 with pushback. Who's punishing that? Nobody. So it's essentially safe, right? I mean, let's be honest here. Let me tell you something about the meta of this move. So, and why it's so dang good. By far the best move out of all the moves in Savage 1, and why I'm making a video. So, you can kind of tell, like I said, from keeping the opponent in the frames you want, in sab, out of sab, in sab, you can kind of tell when you're about to get hit. Move like boom, or like we talked about, bam, you're +8, do that. Pretty good success rate. But the thing is that, remember what I talked about high mid? So, even if they block this move, then it will hit a lot of times, even if they successfully defend, because if they duck, then that's a mid. And it comes out pretty fast. And it's a very far hitbox. So if they duck guard, if they duck and then they do stuff like that, right? Let me see. Oh, hold on. Crouch guard. Yeah, if they duck, then a lot of times that will hit because they expect you going for low. Maybe you've been doing stuff like this, right? Maybe you've been doing stuff like that. Maybe you've been doing stuff like this, right? Even maybe you've been doing and then bam, right? Do this, boom, got him, you know what I mean? Because now you're varying, like I said, high mid. They duck, okay, successful, let me counter hit him, right? And then boom, that kick will hit him. So that's kind of a mix up in itself. It has a lot of offensive potency, right? The pushback, talk about that. Even if they block, it's a lot of pushback. So in the heat of the battle, where you're doing stuff, boom, remember it can be delayed. And then they'll retaliate a lot of times right there. And then a lot of times you can just back up, boom, launch. Or you can anticipate that and get a launch, right? You can even do something like that. Because a lot of times their thing will whiff in the heat of the battle. They won't realize they've been pushed back so far. So it's kind of like a frame trap, I guess, you know? Sidestep, do something like that. So that's another way that you can capitalize off of opponent defending it, right? And the last one is the delayability, like I said. So in terms of how much you can delay moves, this one you can delay this the least, right? This is normal, you can delay it the least. This one you can delay a lot more, right? Same as that. This one you can delay this, you can have some tea, some coffee, you can take a restroom break, and you'll still be able to get the 4 after this. Like, think about it. This is the normal speed. This is how much I can delay it. Did you see that? You see how slow that was? That's like you might as well just throw the 4 out by itself, because it kind of looks like that if you delay it a lot and you mix it up, right? Boom, then that can come out, and then dude, you can counter hit a lot of people with that. So you have to consider all these things when you're implementing this stuff into your offense. It's a great mix up. Even after stuff like that, I'm +5. Boom, boom. Let's say I'm +5, right? Then they duck. Still, that will hit them. The second hit, do they duck? Boom, then I'll hit them, wall bounce, and then we're in business, you know? So you gotta consider all that stuff. Gotta consider all that stuff. It's so good, dude. I spend a lot of time talking about this because it's great. So that's kind of what I want to say. All the stuff I talked about, the delay in terms of the rest of the moves, remember that this is, you can delay it the most, and a lot of pushback is -10, but remember, because of all the pushback, you're not getting punished for that, you know, so it's safe. And it kind of looks like they're -2 because of all the stun, even if you do it at the wall, and they can technically punish you with jabs, right? So implement this stuff, because in Savage Stance, he does have a lot of good moves, but they're risky if you think about it. You have this, which is a great string, but it's -10, but you're close. Unlike this, you're -10 but far. This is launch punishable. You don't want to be throwing that out normally. That's -18, and it's not natural on normal hit nor counter hit. So other than this, he doesn't have like things that are good and not risky, you know? In conclusion, just think about all the options I talked about. And the offensive momentum you gain from it. And not only that, but all the things you can do out of the opponent defending it. The delayability. The plus frames you get off of this, right? +6 off of this. If you just want to do that, it's +6. You can just do that. Boom, 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 bam, right? That's 15 frames. That's your +6. That's guaranteed if they do a move. At the wall, that's great. I've done that all the time. Especially if you get you're trading jabs right here. You get that, boom. But then they'll easy mode, then do a wall combo, right? Easy. So yeah, every single one of these moves are great, right? Really, to be honest with you. Boom, boom. You can get that, you know, delay it a little bit, get a little launch, or do this. Now you're rolling. You have offensive pressure, easy wall bounce. That now there's natural. So all of his strings are natural and delayable, and risk-free, relatively risk-free after a hit. Remember, plus -9. -10, but they don't really know it, you know, and has pushback. -2, -10 will pushback. Contrast that to this, which is -12. Contrast that to this, which is they duck it, you're dead. Contrast that to this, which if they block this move, that's -12. If they block that move, it's -12. So they're clearly minus, and you're close to your opponent at range of 0. These don't have that problem. The only difference is it starts high. But again, if you can work into your offense, dude, your Miguel game will elevate at a lot. You know, it'll be a lot higher. It'll be a lot higher. The level of your Miguel, I think, will be a lot higher. So consider all those things. Consider these things I talked about. Honestly, implement into your game plan. And yeah, you know. So take the information. Comment what you think. I'll try to have a new video every Friday, to be honest with you. Trying to have some consistency, you know. So let me know what you think, guys, and I'll see you.